he was working, because like Alex, embattled, and you know, I think this is a case where doing a little bit of the old Russell conjugation is okay. Controversial game designer Alex Afrasiabi. I think it's Afrasiabi.
Pretty sure.
You know, lots of gross misconduct.
Yep.
And it combined with a bit of the old alcoholism. Oh, what a great thing for what I'm doing right now.
YouTube, that's not good. It's okay, Susan. That's just a blue can.
You can just see Matt going, oh my fuck, they're gonna demonetize this. We're gonna have to blur that out. Yeah, Alex Afrasiabi is an interesting sort of thing, right? Because Alex Afrasiabi effectively falls, not in terms of skill, or necessarily in terms of quality, but he falls into the same category pretty much as H.P. Lovecraft, you know? We all appreciate the work of H.P. Lovecraft. We all appreciate the universe that H.P. Lovecraft created, but he was an incredible racist and homophobe, right, at the same time. So you sort of separate the art from the artist, and you go, yeah, he was a shithead, but, you know, his work was good, at least. And I think with Alex Afrasiabi, we probably do kind of the same thing, where we say that he was an absolute terrible human being, but some of the stuff that he did do on World of Warcraft during his time at World of Warcraft was not bad. You know, it wasn't like he was a terrible creative director, because he basically was the previous creative director for World of Warcraft.
So that ends up being like a controversial thing, because things obviously went very wrong with Alex and they hurt people. But basically, the reason why, you know, Chris wasn't the creative director of World of Warcraft is because he was also working on Diablo 3. And remember, Diablo 3 was being worked on for a very, very long time indeed. He was also working on the StarCraft 2 project.
And Overwatch.
You know, you think about the development cycle for StarCraft 2. You think about when Diablo 3 was announced. Like, he was juggling a lot of those jobs. And it got to the stage where a lot of his personal life was also in those characters, which he's talked about, you know, so some of his feelings definitely played an instrumental role in Thrall finding family in the Cataclysm. Also very much, you know, the whole the Heart of the Swarm storyline.
But that's exactly what we spoke about not too long ago, right? Art is an imitation of life. All the best fucking writers out there write life. That's why it resonates. That's why it works. That's probably why Metzen has always been this godlike figure to the player base, because the characters and the stories he writes comes from his life. You know, it comes from his own experiences, the things that he does. So, yeah.
Then there comes a time where he's a lot less in World of Warcraft. And I think that's in the post-MOP period, if I remember correctly, that kind of swells more.
So I know for a fact that he stepped away from World of Warcraft, and then officially from Blizzard, but first stepped away from World of Warcraft at the start of World of Draenor. That was when he officially stepped away from World of Warcraft, and then he left Blizzard a blueprint for the next 6 expansions after Mists of Pandaria, or after World of Draenor. He left 6 expansion blueprints for Blizzard, and then of course we've already discussed the fact that they deviated like fuck from his blueprint.
But it's also like got to, you know, talk about Kurdran Wildhammer, that has gone and forever then become the red shirt guy who, you know, bested Metzen at his own lore, because Metzen was always doing big things in multiple projects, whereas now, rather than being this kind of like creative...
From what I've heard, right, and from just applying some basic, you know, logic, Chris Metzen, when he left, the Newser came on board, right? And basically the Newser, you can imagine, right? If you're a writer and you believe that you are a good writer, you're not necessarily going to want to stick with the blueprint from the previous guy when you think you have a better idea. So it seems to have been sort of a coalescence of a lot of things that happened at the same time. We had Alex Appreciabi stepping away because of his, let's say less than stellar performances outside of the game, and Danuser not wanting to follow through with Alex Appreciabi's storylines, but then also probably Danuser wanting to take the story in his direction. He wanted to do something new with the story because he thought he had a better idea. And that's why they didn't stick to Metzen's blueprint, because they thought they could do it better.
I don't know.
Surprise,
to steal
surprise.
Something from Linus Tech Tips. Chief Vision Officer. It's just, it's a useful title, right? Metzen was like that big vision for those of the IPs. Now, though, he's only on the WoW development team.
Yeah.
Only the WoW development team.
With an eye to move to other Warcraft projects in the future.
Yeah.
It's the big thing of, oh my god, movie television shows, movie TV. What? Hang on, did I? Sorry, I just remembered thinking about it. Yeah, no, Streamer Dimension's a real thing. It was me and Jared talking in the turn to the Scarlet Crusade and Argent podcast, which is going on tomorrow, about the story of Lordaeron. And I was like, the story of Lordaeron would actually make such an obscenely good TV show.
Actually, yeah.
Like the war as I think Jared called it, War of the Plaguelands, which is the period of time between the fall of Lordaeron and Regipatricided. Not sure how you connect those two. He Regipatricided, and then the whole place.
I would argue, not just, I would say the entire story of Arthas. I said this before. The movie should have been about Arthas. It should have been the story of Arthas. That would have made a much better movie than what the movie ultimately was. Because the movie, as it exists today, is only good for those of us that actually know the lore of World of Warcraft. For anyone that doesn't know shit about the lore of World of Warcraft, there's no way that they followed that movie and came away with anything that would be considered the magic of World of Warcraft. Because they tried to cover too much in too short a period of time. Whereas a movie about Arthas and what Arthas did and how Arthas became the Lich King is just so fucking perfect. It kind of fucking writes itself.
Went to hell, and then we show up in World of Warcraft, and it's the Plaguelands and the Undercity and the Scarlet Monashell and stuff. That period of time was crazy good.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, so like unbelievably dramatic.
It's got to get it. It's got to make it into some form of media.
Yeah, it was like, it did in Ashbringer, the comic, but it was like a TV version of that would be crazy good.
Imagine like a world where the world revamp is happening, and then they're able to do that sort of thing.
Look at Ian's face
Because
there.
the only bits of Azeroth that people give them, like if there's a WoW TV show and it's set in the Shadowlands.
Please, God, no.
Said those words. Like that's just so inherently goofy. Like it's got to be those 4 zones passing forever. It's going to be like WoW, kind of like mass media like Netflix. And if they were to bring World of Warcraft more home with some sort of world, you could see all those things working together quite well. And funny enough, they did try to do that with Warlords of Draenor in the Warcraft movie. I don't think it's confirmed, but there was certainly talk of those having a bit of a tie-in.
They definitely tried to do that in the thematic ways. It's like, look, the orcs are cool, like the orcs, please.
In fairness, Toby Kebbels, I think that's his name. Yeah, I know that's his name. He did a really good job. Man, the movie Gul'dan was really good.
Actually, Movie Gul'dan was fucking brilliant. That's true. Movie Gul'dan was absolutely nuts. Got a question. What recent leak? I haven't followed many of the leaks, Nazur, so I can't really tell you. I just debunked the 11.0 leak, and that's pretty much it. I haven't really followed many of the leaks for World of Warcraft. sort of lost interest in leak season, as it were.
Fucking the big suck. Big suck is
See, Icaria, that's the good part of this, right? The issue of Warcraft TB is most WoW races are too expensive to have on screen for too long. You know what races aren't expensive to have on screen? Well, there's expensive enough, but not expensive other races. Humans. And
HBO can do plenty of zombies.
what was the whole point of Lordaeron? It was literally half of them were going, don't bring any other races into this. Why? We're not racist, just don't like them. With a Bendis and Balazar taking the set on Doglands.
Yo,
stuff, so
wait,
like,
because it's Lordaeron. There's canonically people with British accents up there.
Yeah.
We can go full north.
Yeah, so you can go full north there.
Oh, Garethos! Right, who's going to be cast as Garethos?
Oh, shit.
Oh, that was a
Okay.
really good snipe.
Yeah, it was.
And with that, reputation with Taliesin earned back.
Absolutely. So
Fantastic.
yeah, there's so much stuff there because we describe it in the podcast as
There seems to be some underlying
zombie
passive
apocalypse
aggressiveness
shows
going
are
on here.
usually-
I'm pretty sure. So at the beginning of the video, Balila goes, "You're about to steal something from someone's video," and the way he says it is, it seems like something's going on there. And now he goes, "Some reputation won back with Taliesin." There might be some underlying fights there. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating.
but small group of people, right? But this feels a lot more Mad Max because it's about like societal structures forming after a collapse. So like a Walking Dead Mad Max stuff, like a Mad Max kind of TV show, would actually go super well. And I'm just like, yeah, I was just thinking about like the future of what they could do with that is kind of if they have people who are interested in the whole side of it. Because there's even like you mentioning there of like maybe he's working on Classic Plus stuff. Maybe that's what that's doing.
I wouldn't mind if Mason was working on Classic Plus stuff.
It is just generally a little bit exciting if you're happy to dip into the coke.
Dante, please tell me Taliesin didn't say that. Like, Taliesin actually said that they stole his pirate idea for a video. Because it's not like the entire Reddit was for some point in time completely fucking occupied with everyone claiming that there's going to be a pirate expansion, right? It was only Taliesin that claimed that there's going to be a pirate expansion. Dude, this feels like the whole fucking pyromancer thing all over again. No, and luckily me and Pyro managed to bury the hatchet there and sort of sort that shit out. So it feels like this whole thing again where there was some period of time where Pyromancer really went super heavy on claiming people are stealing his video ideas and stuff. And it's just like, dude, World of Warcraft is a game with only so many possible things that can happen. The chances of two content creators thinking about the exact same fucking thing is quite strong. There's like a very strong chance that two people will think about the same thing. Chris Mason before any leaks. D-Right. So I watched the video where Valular spoke about Chris Mason and the leaks, and he in that video said, as Taliesin said, and then boom, 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 you know, repeated whatever the fuck Taliesin said. So I'm not entirely sure what video is being referred to here, but I remember watching a video. We were doing it on stream, you know. Yeah, he said, Taliesin said this. Now, what the fuck more do you want, right? If you say something that's really clever, and someone says, yeah, like this guy said, bum, 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 that's fine. You know, that's not stealing. That's literally just citing sources.
Opium tank, basically. That's what I think it feels like. Scarlet Crusade season, yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of the line, every planet's got a north, from Chris Eccleston's Doctor. Oh dear. So
not even really a strong way to end. This is literally just cool stuff happening.
I think that Ian and Chris Metzen are two totally different functions within Warcraft. And, I think the person who Metzen would maybe, like, obviously he'd be working closely with Ian because at the end of the buck stops when it comes, like, he's the game director, right? He is the captain. In terms of all the lore things, though, it's Steve. And, Steve
Sadly.
has got, like, I would say more of an eye for the detail. It's that sort of thing. I think a lot of the mistakes of, like, some of the WoW lore recently, it maybe comes from being, like, a lot of interest in the detail and the esoteric things, like,
See, I agree with Balila here in terms of, and someone literally yesterday completely misquoted me in the comment section of one of my videos, claiming I said something that I didn't say. But Steve Denuser, while being in charge of the writing team for World of Warcraft, has been far superior to any of the previous writing teams of World of Warcraft when it comes to the small individual continuous narratives within World of Warcraft, the small stories and how they play out, the esoteric stories and how they play out, making sure that stories have that sort of beginning, middle, and end. The problem with Steve Denuser is that his beginning, middle, and end is shit. Right? Where his stories end, leave most of us going, what the fuck? And then when he starts a new story, we go, what the fuck? Right? So it's not that the way he tells his stories is bad. It's that the stories he tells is bad. So in this instance, I actually think that Steve Denuser working with Metzen will be a very good addition, because Metzen can be the one that gives Denuser a direction and a story, and then Denuser can be the one to write that story from beginning, middle, and end. And that way you get a really good story also told really, really well. The past Blizzard Entertainment, right? So World of Warcraft Classic, TBC, Wrath, was very good stories told really badly sometimes. Like every once in a while, Blizzard would have like an absolute W, right? And they would tell a really good story also really well. But a lot of times the stories were told very, very poorly, which usually left us with a lot of speculation room because, there's a lot of things missing within the story that just didn't really get a lot of the time that was required in order to get the story out there, or they would sort of just skip over a bunch of stuff and get to the fucking point where it's like, oh my god, this is so cool. Whereas Steve Denuser is a lot better at sort of following through on all the small things and getting the story to where it needs to go. So it's going to be nice to see, Steve Denuser actually being able to work with good stories, because the only place I fault Steve Denuser is he makes pretty shit stories. He tells them really well, but they're still shit, right?
I imagine with like an esoteric mysticism, there's probably a lot.
Best example I have for Steve Denuser would be the Wheel of Time TV series that I just started watching 2 days ago. I told you guys, I don't quite know how I feel about the series itself. The series itself feels to be written really poorly. There's I don't know. It doesn't really vibe with me. But I'm watching because